Ladies and gentlemen, people and persons, this is your 30-minute end of pop culture as you know it. I am your co-host, Gnarly Quinn, and we're joined by the main man, Matthias, today. And we got a pretty interesting one. So what do you got for us, Matthias?
So today, spitballing around, I'd like to tackle the top 3 gaming consoles that we grew up with that, the most memories, and they don't have to be the best consoles. Just the top 3 consoles that, growing up were go-to, had the most fun, the most memories. I think this will be a really good one. Do you want to kick us off first?
Yes, only because I grew up very interesting. We didn't have a whole lot of technology. It wasn't until we all were older, only because there was 4 of us and we were very reckless with things. So we tend to break things a lot. So we didn't get consoles until we were much older. And since there was 4 of us, my mom didn't want us to be lopsided. So she didn't want one of us to have something that the other one didn't, which kudos to my parents for that. One of the first consoles that I actually remember having was the Wii. It was pretty solid. Yeah, I like that. I will never forget playing Just Dance. And then my cousin actually gave us one, like her old Dance Dance Revolution pad. So we would sit downstairs and we would play Dance Dance Revolution and Just Dance for hours, not to mention the Mario Kart on the Wii. That was an interesting one. Oh my God. We spent so many hours on that game. We have never been so infuriated with each other in our entire lives. It was great.
Yeah, some of those party games like Mario Kart and especially Mario Party, they don't necessarily create friendships. In fact, they tend to do the opposite. They bring out an evilness in people that you never really knew you had.
It was so funny though. Like we would hate each other. Like it was so bad. And then the next day we'd always still want to play again. It was so bad. And it was always like our rainy days too. So we didn't have anything to do outside. So we'd always sit down and we would always play Mario Kart or Just Dance or even like the Wii Sports. Even though there was only a certain amount of players in some of the games, like we would always still sit down and play the Wii Sports. That was fun. And some of us, once we got older, some of us could kind of break off into groups and do our own thing. But that was always a fun one for us. We always loved those games.
Yeah, Wii Sports is probably the top tier one, which is funny because I think that was the first game that ever came out for, if I remember right. It was like included with the system. Because I remember when that came out, I think the year it came out or the year after it came out, it was the Wii, and then I got that Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. And what's funny is like, oh my God, I was rolling the Zelda back then. I played that Wii Sports probably 5 times more than I did that Zelda game. It was fun.
It would suck you in, dude. And there were so many games within that one game that you could sit down and play. Bowling. Oh my God, I got so frustrated with bowling. And we almost smashed our TV so many times because just us yeeting the Wii remotes for not having the stupid straps on our hands. It was so funny. Which thank God we had it wasn't an old tube TV, but it was close to it. I can't even remember what it was. But it was one of those old brick house TVs that would just take a beating and keep on ticking.
Yeah, it hit you back. Yeah.
Sometimes it would hit you back. Which thank God for that, because if we had flat screen TVs whenever we were kids, they would not last.
I agree. My third pick, number 3 for me, since we're going from 3 to 1. Pretty much, I was thinking about this list, and I didn't make it complicated. I just thought of the first 3 that I kind of play the most. And number 3 would be PS2.
Ooh.
Yeah, to this day, I think it's still the best console ever. But I'll tell you why the other 2 beat it when I get to that point. But the PS2 has probably still to this day the most disgusting library of games to ever exist. Like, it was just stupid the amount of games that came out for that. That was back when the golden age of Star Wars games, like for Battlefront 1 and 2, the Star Wars Starfighter games that came out, which are very underrated, had all the all the anime, the huge boom in anime games that came out, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I can keep going. Like there's like GTA games, Jack and Daxter. Like the library is just so massive. Like it was never ending. And I think my last PS2 game I got it was like in 2009 or something, when like the PS3 was out and the Xbox 360 was out. I still was getting PS2 games, but no, it's just a very memorable system, and it just stands the test of time. It's really hard. I think still to this day it's the highest selling console ever. If I'm not wrong, I might need someone to fact check me on that. But no, it's really hard to find something I hate about that system.
Yeah, I think it's also, and this is just from what I remember. I never actually
Yeah.
had a PS2. I didn't get into like an actual PlayStation console until I was probably 13 or 14. So all of us were
Okay.
a little bit older. And then my mom had bought us two because they were only two-player. So my mom bought us each one. And
Yeah.
that kind of opened up my world a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was a PS4. So it was the steps after.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, most of my friends did have a PS2. So they were playing all of these crazy games. And it kind of, at the time, it went from like the handheld consoles, like the DSs and like the DSi, the DSXL, like, because it transitioned from Game Boys to DSs. And then everyone went to like the PlayStation 2s after that.
Yeah.
Like right around the same time. So I feel like it kind of made the switch from like handheld consoles onto actual like sit down consoles.
Yeah. And it was actually my very first DVD player. I even remember my
Yes.
first two. I remember my first two movies I got it for Christmas, and I remember the first two DVDs I ever got was Coyote Ugly and Godzilla 2000. Completely non-related movies, but I watched the heck out of them. It was awesome. It's an awesome system. It's hard to find something bad about that. Yeah, that's what I think makes something great, is not trying to find really good perks about it, but trying to find something wrong with it. And it's really hard to find something wrong with the PS2. Even the other two like systems competing with it, I believe they were actually more powerful all around the board than the PS2, and the PS2 still outdid itself. It's a phenomenal system. I could be here for a whole episode talking about that, but we don't have time for that.
Well, that would bring me into my next pick, actually, bringing up the Game Boy and the DSs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The Game Boy was one of my first handheld consoles. So we had the Wii, and then my cousin actually gave me her Game Boy. So that came with another Mario game. And it's been so long, I can't even remember. But all I remember is having a motherload of cartridges that were just all with the games. And of course, you had to blow on the cartridge before you put it into the DS, and then you could play your game just fine.
Yep. That's true 90s kid material right there.
Yes.
Picking up the cartridge and blowing on it.
I spent
These kids today, they don't understand the struggle. They don't understand the struggle.
No. And it's kind of weird because part of the reason that I actually got the Game Boy was I had a lazy eye when I was a kid. And in order to correct that, my eye doctor told me that handheld games would actually help my eyes focus on something that's closer to me. So it would start to train my eye to focus on things the way that it was supposed to. So I would have never gotten that if I had not had a lazy eye. Because, my mom probably wouldn't have bought me anything like that. But my cousin had it, and she gave it to me. And I played so many hours on that game. Any free time that I had, I was playing the Game Boy.
So what you're telling me is Nintendo saved your eyesight.
Actually, yes. Yes. Yeah, because by the time I had just moved into 6th grade. I had just gotten out of 5th grade, and I just moved into 6th grade. During that summer, right in between, I went to the eye doctor, and they were like, yeah, congratulations, you don't need glasses. And that was between probably 3 years of playing Nintendo.
Who says games are bad for you?
I know, right? It was the complete opposite of anything that I had ever expected somebody to tell me. Yes, play video games, it'll save your eyesight. It's like, what? Did I hear that right?
Right. So my number for the silver position in my list, And this is respectfully why this one beat the PS2 was the Xbox 360. And the reason I
Mm.
say that is because it was the first system I had that you can go online, play with your friends, and because of games like Halo, you
Mm-hmm.
could have 4 player split screen. I felt the library for Xbox 360 for me was pretty. I'd say second only to the PS2. Its library is pretty big. It had a lot of big contenders. It had Halo, obviously, that was at its peak. Gears of War, a lot of hours playing Call of Duty. Call of Duty was the one game that kind of solidified why I have it in number 2, because the amount of hours that we put into Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is just stupid. Because I actually didn't get internet till late in the game for the 360.
Mm.
But yeah, just library. Like I said, library games is a lot. I mainly played all the first person shooters were on there. I had some RTS games. Um, one of them was a Halo game. Halo Wars is very underrated, but it's a very good game. That was when Halo was at its peak. Like before you kids got it, before these kids these days got into like Minecraft and Fortnite and the other ones. Halo was where it was at. I remember going to school talking about it all the time.
Dude, for the
Uh,
longest time, Halo was the game to play.
yeah, it was the game to play. It lost a lot of its momentum, but
Well, that's like with most games, and hell, even most games now. I think after the first 6 months, oh, it's 90% of their like player base just kind of goes
mhm,
away because after the first 6 months,
yeah,
people play it for the first 6 months, and then
yeah,
bam, they're off to another game.
yeah. Um, yeah, I just like thinking back here, like it wasn't in school and then after school, it was still alive for a little bit for the Xbox One, or yeah, the Xbox One came out. Yeah, just the fact that you could play the split screen and with friends. Like I said, it's hard to pick anything bad about. Well, actually, the one thing bad about it was my first 360 that had that red ring of death, and that sucked.
Oh,
So I had to get a Xbox. What was it called? An Xbox 360 Elite. That might have been what it was called. Um, had more memory. It was slimmer. But anyway, no, I just and that was one that system was cool because I don't know if any of the other ones could do that, but you could burn songs onto the system
mm.
and then play music while you're playing a game.
Yeah, I remember kids talking about that. They're like, "Oh yeah, I was playing music while I was playing a
Like
game." I'm like, dude, there's no
I'd
way.
upload like Disturbed, like heavy because you're going to be on there like just freaking obliterating everything, like playing
Well,
GTA 4, you know.
you don't want to play GTA 4 to elevator music.
No, you don't. No, that'd be the opposite way. Um,
Also, I would like to meet somebody who downloaded like classical music, like Beethoven or something, just to play like GTA 4 or Call of Duty 2.
those are those that actually always win. Like
Yes,
if you're playing a game and you keep getting scoped or knifed by this one guy, he's
360
cracking
no scope.
Bach and Beethoven on his, that. Um, but no, just a lot of good games growing up. Very all around good system. To me, when the 360 ended and the other ones came out, it kind of went downhill. To me, it did. I mean, the Xbox One was all right, but the PS4 really outshined the hell out of it. But no, 360. The good days of that was really good. I liked a lot of that.
I always heard good things. Um, I would like to throw in an honorable mention only because this is just for me as a kid. Obviously, getting into those certain types of games, my dad had brought out his Atari.
Oh my god.
Yes, that was such a great part of my childhood. And it was there for a brief time, but I will never forget sitting down and playing some of those games. Because one, you grew up with having, and for me personally, you grew up having like the Wii, you had the DS, you had the Game Boy. So you got used to playing all these games and they were so user friendly. Like they
Yeah.
would kind of walk you through everything. They'd be like, "Oh, this is your first time playing the game. Here, do this, do that, do that." But you plugged in that Atari, it was a free for all. If you didn't know how to
Yeah.
play, you were gonna
Yep.
lose first, and you were gonna
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just so fun playing the tennis where it had the paddles on either side and the ball would just
Mm-hmm.
bounce around. That was so much
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
There was one that was kind of where you would have to like go through these rooms and try to get through all the rooms. I think there was like a version of Tetris that was on there. That was so much fun. Yeah, so that would be my honorable mention
Right.
for first.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for me, I think my top spot would honestly have to go to the PS4. I know it's not the
Nope.
greatest gaming console on the planet.
You're
It's not.
fine. Nope.
However,
It's good.
I have one of the first games that we would play on the PS4 was Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah.
That game, we had so many hours in that game. And usually, or I, like, one of my siblings would sit down and they would play it for hours with me. It was great. We have so many memories in that. And then it started to translate into more modern games. So the third sibling and I, we would always hop into lobbies every now and again. So it'd be my fiance, her, me. We'd hop into a lobby and we'd either play like DMZ or it was just something random. Or we play like quick play. And I don't know why, but she's just so good. I think she has ADHD a little bit. So she would sit down and she would learn things that I have no idea how she would figure out. And she's so involved in it. Like she was always either one of the top players or kind of right in the middle. She never did bad. And then with the advent of Fortnite, I kind of played Fortnite with my siblings a little bit. The youngest one and the third one down, I played some Fortnite with. I mean, that was fun because it was mainly all of their friends. So it was just my playing with a bunch of kids. And I felt bad because I was corrupting all of those children because I'm used to Call of Duty lobbies. I'm like, dude, those things are ruthless. And then I'm jumping into Fortnite lobbies. Yeah. Good memories. Good memories.
PS4 it's a solid system. It had some of the best single player games in recent history. I'm not going to take that away from you. That is a solid system. Well, for me, real quickly, honorable mention. Funny enough, you just said it was the DS. Because I still play it. I don't get a lot of TV time anymore. And I always, like, before bed, I kind of play about a half hour on it because I'm a big Pokemon fan. I still play it.
Yeah.
I still play Platinum is my favorite one, or I'll kick on Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And since the DS can play Advanced, I'll pop in like Fire Red or Leaf Green, or just because of those, because I'm such a huge Pokemon fan. I even to this day, and probably tonight, I'll probably play it for a little bit. But it's a solid system. But my number one system for me growing up, especially, and it'd be like the highlight system of my childhood, would be the Nintendo 64.
Ooh.
Simplicity is not a bad thing.
No.
And it opened my eyes. Like, I can't tell you when that Christmas, when we plugged it in and kicked on Super Mario 64, I have yet to feel that awe in my life of like, oh my God. It was Mario 64, and then Mario Kart 64. We played the hell out of that. GoldenEye was another one. GoldenEye 64, which was kind of like the stepping stones for first-person shooter craze that I had. Solid system. I still have it. I still have it in one of my. It's in a box underneath the bed. I'll still bust that sucker out and kick it on here every once in a while. It means a lot to me. A lot of the indie games that I have for it under the radar are really fun. I can't think of them right now, but like the main one, like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I can't tell you a game that's ahead of its time more than that one. Like it was nuts, and that came out in 1998. Yep, there I go, show my age again. I was like, oh my God, like how I was breathless. I was speechless when I seen the trailer for it. I'm like, how is this a game? Like, this looks like a movie. I mean, like Super Smash Brothers. That was the first system it came out for. Like, party game wise, it was crazy. Like, I'm a big fan of playing going to buddy's house growing up, playing party games like Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. It was just a fun system. It was. And then you got awesome single player games like Banjo-Kazooie, which is one of its kind. And then, like I said, Mario 64. Again, the library for this system is nuts. And yeah, like I said, I still have it. One of these times I'll probably, blow the dust off, kick it on. It still works.
I feel like for a lot of people, it kind of revolutionized the way that they had played video games.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when that, like, yeah, I played Super Nintendo when I was really young. And then going from that to 3D was just nuts. It was crazy.
That's wild. Solid choice. Solid choice.
Like I said, I went through this list in my brain really quick. The three that stood out the most. Like, I know the GameCube's up there. The PS4, like I said, PS4 is good too. But I just went through really quickly and picked what ones like meant a lot growing up.
Oh,
and
same.
N64, it's hard to beat. It means a lot.
Yeah. Sentimental. Most of the ones that I chose, I never really had video games. I didn't really have that kind of technological access. I mean, we weren't super poor, but we weren't exactly rich either. We were just trying to find something to do because there was so many of us, and we got to the point where there was only so many things that we could do outside. And then we started getting to the point where we were like, all right, we're kind of getting bored of this. Like, what can we do next? And so video games came into play. And we didn't have the most up-to-date systems, and we didn't have the coolest games that were on the market.
Right.
But still, there were so many memories that were tied to that for me personally. So I just randomly chose some of the gaming systems that I had when I was a kid that I thought were pretty cool and that we played hours on. It was just there's so many memories.
Before we get going here, I got to go back to the PS2. That was the system that the Rock Band Guitar Hero games came out for, and those are awesome.
Oh, dude, there's still people that play that to this day.
Loved it.
It was so good. That's one thing I feel like I missed out on a little bit. But going over to a friend's house and they actually like had it, and I would sit down there. I was literally one of the only people in the friend group that would sit down there and play that game for hours.
Yeah, I said good choices. I think that's long and short of it. Those the ones that meant the most. I speak for you when I say to both of us. Like I said, they're not the best, they're not the worst, but they were fun for us.
You got the most memories.
Most memories. That's what it was.
Yeah, you got the most memories. That was the best part.
Like, I'm sure here in about 20 years we'll have like the PlayStation 50 and the Xbox 490 or whatever the hell it's going to be called, and the Nintendo C-clamp. I don't know what the hell they're going to be calling it by then, but no, no matter where we go, those watch that be true. Watch about 15 years the Nintendo C-clamp. I'd lose my.
I would send this clip to you immediately. I would find it. I would pull it out of our archives and I would send it directly to you.
Unfortunately, people, we have to wrap it up. Quinn and I enjoyed doing this. But yeah, please listen to this, and share with us what your favorite system was. We want to hear it.
Yes. What was your favorite system growing up as a kid?
Yeah, we want to know. There really isn't a wrong choice. There isn't. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, Quinn, we got to go here, and we'll tackle it next time.
Catch you next week, Matthias. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed our top 3 favorite game consoles throughout our lives and throughout our childhood. Let us know in the comments, what is your favorite console? Whether it's from your childhood, even a console now that you like. Let us know in the comments. And as always, we will see you on next week's episode of Apopkolips.